So we're switching gears at this point to welcome the discuss of our guest, a former governorship candidate in Delta State and the Director General of the Nigerian Thought Project, Dr. Obire. Good to have you on this coverage, Dr. Obire. All right, sir. So from the... Very good. So from the electioneering campaigns up to this moment, do you think the messages at those campaigns, you could look at all the three parties, political parties as it were, did they resonate with the yearnings of Edo people, what they actually want, or we're just looking at another jamboree of parties and of, whatever you may choose to call them?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. First of all, we need to look at the basics, which had to do with party manifestos. If you take a proper look at how political parties are pushing out their manifesto, you see that people are driving, the contestants are driving what they can do outside the party manifesto. It is same climb is about the party manifesto, but in this part of the world, let's say Africa in general, all we want to put out there to electorates are things we have in mind to do for them. And that is really a very big setback for us, because I think it is time for political parties to come plain with what their manifesto is and not what the manifesto of the candidate is. Because the electorates are actually supposed to be voting for the party, what the party is bringing to the table that will affect their livelihood, their standard of living, their health, their education, and so many things. When you look at the party manifesto, you should be able, as an electorate, to say, okay, this is a party that I want to vote for because of this and because of that. But today, they are all singing the same thing. The APC, the PDP, and the Labour Party, let's take a look at these three. You can see that they were trying so hard to preach to the people the same gospel that has been on the pulpit of political standing for over decades. We cannot have the same problem every time. In every electioneering process, we talked about good roads, we talked about education, we talked about health, we talked about this. We cannot continue to talk about the same things. The political parties need to, in all honesty, come out with pure manifestos that whoever wins that election is going to do what the party manifesto is saying and not what they have in mind as an individual to do for the people, because wrongly, they will get it wrong. Now, before this question, I heard your people talking about women participation and all that. It still boils down to the political parties. The political parties need to be financially independent. Once a political party is financially independent, it brings a level playing ground for everyone that feel like contesting or feel like having something to do in the political scene. But when they are not, people hijack these structures with their funds, and they dictate who becomes the candidate. And this is where most of the women fall aside, because they don't see a level playing ground for them to be able to fully participate in elections like governors, presidents, and even local government chairmen, because they feel that those who have hijacked the party structure with their funds will not pick them or will not consider them as a candidate for the party. And without them being presented as a candidate to the party, there is no way Nigerians will vote for them. So everything still boils down to the political parties. So they have all preached, they have all talked to Edo people. We want to believe that those who are actually out there to exercise their franchise at this moment will run with whatever that is in their mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so Dr. Obire, permit me to actually come in here. I'm happy this didn't play out, but does it take away from the whole electoral process? Because I'm reading this day today, and there were talks about Olumide Akpata of Labour Party. He had been debunking the fact that he has been out of the race. We see all this political rigmarole, political maneuvers happening here and there. They call it alliances in the political sphere. Sometimes people say this takes away from the whole process because you don't know what the candidate that you are supporting is plotting behind closed doors. That some of them are just figureheads, so to speak, to garner votes and give to another party. How do you think this has affected the way politics has been played here in Nigeria?
Well, it's a very sad situation that we tend to heat up the polity, most especially in this regard, because political gladiators are not supposed to be afraid of their counterpart in other parties, their co-contestants. They need to focus more on how to win the people to be able to vote for them and not running others down. Looking at what actually happened on that particular incident, it can be considered so
Dr.
unfortunate
Odiako,
because
I'm afraid we'll have to leave the conversation here because we now have to, we'll definitely come back to you shortly.